everyone. Alright, so this is going to be my tutorial on how I make my tumblers. I have selected just 2 tumbler wrap designs. We're going to do this garage one, and then we're going to do Minnesota Vikings one. So what I did is I've got them laid out in Word. My settings for each one are about 9.5 and 8.2, somewhere around there, depending on what the tumbler measures. This is normally a good measurement for straight tumblers for the 20-ounce skinnies. And then I used word art to insert their names over the image. When you go to print, make sure that you've got all of these settings taken care of. You want to make sure that you're doing premium presentation matte on high color, and then no two-sided printing. And then you'll come up here to more options. Always have mirror image checked, and then you'll go to custom and advanced, and you want to make sure that this says Adobe RGB and that the gamma is at 2.2. Okay, so then we'll go ahead and print. To print, I use an Epson, and it is a Inkwell 2720, and I use, sorry for the mess, I use A-Sub paper. It's like 20 bucks, and I use the 8.5 by 11, and it looks like this. You can get it off of Amazon. And then for my ink, I'm a big fan of the Hippo Sublimation ink, also available on Amazon. Okay, now that we've printed our images, I've got 2 tumblers here that we're going to use, and I've already cut them out. See how they're mirrored? Well, it looks straight on here, but they're mirrored, and so when they come on, they'll be the right side. And so we're just going to slowly try and line this up. We want it to be as straight as possible. Sometimes it takes me a few times. You also want to try and get it as absolutely tight, and you don't want a lot of excess over here, otherwise it causes a mark in your tumbler. I've taken some heat resistant tape and cut them out into strips, and we're just going to lay it across that seam right there, and keep, again, you want this as tight as possible, so keep pushing it and holding it as much as you can. Put that right there, maybe. One more. My tape doesn't like me today. Okay, forget that piece. We'll do another one. Okay, so that's like that. Then you see how we've got excess here at the top. We want to make sure that we cut that all off. And so then it's flush with the cup. Then we're going to take our roll of tape, which I use this gold stuff, and we are going to tape the top, and you're going to want to leave a little bit extra right there so you can fold it over the edge, and we're going to tightly wrap it around the tumbler. We're going to do the same process on the bottom too. So once you get that, cut it off, and then what you're going to want to do is fold over that on top of the lip of the cup. That helps make sure that there's no ghosting or fading on the top or bottom of the tumbler. So then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to do the same exact thing on the bottom. You can take off this silver part. It really doesn't do anything, and sometimes they tend to burn. If you're using a convection oven versus a heat press, I would highly suggest taking those off. I use the heat press, so normally it doesn't really matter. Now, if I was going to use a convection oven instead of a heat press, what I would do is I would get this done and all wrapped, and then I would take silicone wrap, and I would cover that in the silicone wrap and shrink it with a heat gun and then bake it. And so since there was a couple little spots here that the tape didn't cover, we're going to lay this down and we're going to do one more just strip kind of covering it. And so it should look like this. All right, so this is the tumbler press that I got just off of Amazon. It wasn't very expensive, and you want to heat it up to 365 degrees. It heats up pretty quickly, and the wonderful thing about this versus the convection oven is that it only takes about 2 minutes to do. Now when you put the cup in at first, it is going to see the temperature drop because it's going to get a little bit cooler, and you'll want to make sure that these right here, these knobs, are really tight up against the cup. So we're going to open it up, and with this seam, I always use that because you're going to need to turn it. I put that in, seam up, close, and then this is going to count down for 50 seconds. I haven't had luck with those little rubber heat resistant gloves, so I actually bought these off of Amazon. They're a little big, but they work really well. Okay, so our beeper's about to go off. So we're gonna open that up again. Make sure you've got your glove on. Take the inside here and just twist it to where your seam is about halfway. Push it back in, close it back up. Okay, so now I've taken it out. We did one for 50 seconds, rotated it about a quarter of the way, and then pressed again for 50 seconds. Now we just need to let it cool. For those of you cooking in a convection oven for your mugs, I would highly recommend this oyster one. It's tall enough to where if you take out all the inside trays, you can stand your tumbler upright. And if you want to do that, I set my setting at about 365 to 385. Keep it on bake, and then I do about 5 to 6 minutes. Okay, so we are peeling off. You might see some white stuff right here. We'll just take and rinse that off with some Dawn dish soap, and that will come right off. So we're unpeeling here. And now I'm gonna go quick and rinse this off and be right back. Okay, so this is our final product. I'm not in love with how the colors turned out. I tried a new brand of tumbler. I think I'm gonna go back to my old one that does a lot more vivid colors, but in general, we have a tumbler.